Tim, I'll say a bunch of nice things and maybe something you should look into. Smart, opinionated, gets views, very capable. But book recommendation, maybe you read How to Win Friends and Influence People, because there's better ways to navigate relationships.
But this is middle MAGA.
Just to rehash what happened here with Patrick Bet-David and Tim Pool, this is not the most important thing going on in the world. It does matter from a Tim Pool reputation standpoint, but I mean, months down the road, this is not going to be substantial. But I started the video covering it. This happened after the video, so I have not covered this yet. And those videos are performing the best on the channel, which is not what I would hope for. But maybe I'll do it in this video, or maybe I'll probably do it in a separate video addressing, because people have asked me about a lot of Tim Pool videos on the channel, and there's an easy answer for that one. But let's take a look at what's happened, developed here after I did that last video on Tim Pool and Patrick Bet-David. Disappointing to see this, and I understand Tim's trying to protect himself, and he's had in the past the tendency to do too little in far as defending himself or explaining himself. That happened with the Eliza Blue situation. That happened with the Jack Murphy situation. I don't think he ever addressed the Jack Murphy situation, not really fully addressed to my knowledge. Maybe he did. The Eliza Blue, he did eventually address that. Then he had the quartering thing that I was against Jeremy on that one, very hard against Jeremy on that one. But he's had these things come up because he's so big. And, you might say it was not important, but he's got 2 million followers on X. He thought it was important enough to post this. So what happened was Patrick Bet-David hired Chris Cuomo. After Chris Cuomo got hired, everybody that's in the alt media space, pretty much, I don't know anybody in that space that I'm talking about that thought Chris Cuomo did a good job during the pandemic. Not even Ben Shapiro, after the fact at least, would agree with that. Chris Cuomo was untrustworthy. He was one of the biggest pro-pharma government, regime bootlicking shills out there. Really bad. But he's very talented, though. He's very entertaining, though. He captures your attention when he speaks. So my take was, when Patrick Bet-David hired Chris Cuomo, was, I get it. You have to overcome this problem, though. And right now, from what I've heard of him, he sounds pretty reasonable on the pandemic now. But I understand people like Tim Pool, Dave Smith, and others want some type of acquiescing, some type of acknowledgement about what happened here, what's going on. And I'm fine with him being on the show. I think he's entertaining. I'll still watch him. But I do agree that's fair to ask, like, what's going on here? I like him on the show because it's a counter perspective. Right now, Tim Pool, I don't know where Ian is. Ian's, he's been in Florida a lot, doing stuff with Luke and other things. Ian's a boss on his own. So, but without Ian on the show, it's not as good to me. And Tipcast is still great, don't get me wrong. But Ian brings a different flavor. And I don't know if he's been on since that one episode got pulled. And somebody told me, I'll get back to this here in a second, but somebody told me, if anybody has the video before it got pulled, I want to see that. Because I never saw that. So it got pulled, and then I saw the after show, and I did a bunch of videos on the after show. Didn't show any footage. I just did voice to text and did that. But people are telling me that Ian was kind of, they're getting into that discussion again about the pandemic and Trump, where Tim's very bad on that topic. And somebody was telling me that Ian was getting, basically kind of winning a battle against Tim on that topic, and that's why he pulled it. I don't know if that's true or not. Somebody let me know if you know where that footage is, if it's out there. But my point with that is, without Ian, you don't have the same counterpoint. So you need a new counterpoint there. So bringing it back to Patrick Bet-David says, okay, Chris Cuomo, right now, he's a smart guy, entertaining guy. He provides a counterpoint. He's a different perspective than the rest of the crew. That makes it interesting. You've got to have different perspectives. Otherwise, it's the same. It's my take, but my take is the same as your take, and your take is the same as mine. I might build on your take, but we're the same take. It's like 4 people, but it's really one person. And that's what's happening on Timcast IRL now without Ian Crossland, the great Ian Crossland. But Patrick Bet-David didn't want that, in my opinion. That's my read on it. So he brings in Chris Cuomo. Understandably, Tim Pool, he was pretty harsh on it. And he didn't acknowledge anything that I acknowledged. We know why he did it. He didn't even acknowledge that. So I think Patrick Bet-David felt some kind of way because Tim Pool was pretty harsh. He was very harsh. I forget the exact verbiage. So then after all that, they say Dave Smith is going to debate him. Somebody replies underneath it and says, Tim, this is what we need from you, hosting the debates or going to debates. Tim wanted to defend himself. He didn't want to diss Patrick Bet-David, in my opinion. He just wanted to defend himself, but it came out wrong because he said he had inside information. It's hard to hold back, and people say, well, that's why you don't do those debates. And Tim was like, Tim messed it up, though, because saying that he turned it down doesn't even help. So he's just, I don't know, he's in a weird space right now. Because the person said, well, Tim, this is what we want from you. Host the debate or be in the debate. So Tim replied underneath that and said, I was going to do that or something like that, but I turned it down. That doesn't even help. If you turn down the debate, let's say you turn down the debate, that doesn't address the person's concern. We need you to host the debates or be in the debates. That's not my take, but that doesn't answer his concern. Well, I guess it kind of is my take. I'll give my take in the end. It's somewhat of my take. So that leads us to here. I'm not going to cover these too much, but this is the final piece of it just to finish it out. And those videos get, 10 to 40 times more views than my other ones. I'll do a separate video talking about that. But, I did a video on Trump and Biden debate, that type of stuff, and many other topics. And these videos get at least 10 to 40 times more viewership. So I will honor that and finish it off. Tim tweeted, this was May 15th, I privately messaged PBD apologizing for any miscommunication. We can stop right there. You don't need to tell us that you privately messaged PBD. All you need to do is privately message him and say, Brad, my bad. I was just trying to defend myself. There's no beef. And that's it. And move on. You don't need any of this stuff. See, he's getting a lot of negative feedback, and I don't like that. Tim is too important. He platformed Matt Walsh. He's Daily Wire. I hate Daily Wire, but I like Matt Walsh. He platformed, obviously MAGA and all that, but then now he's going to do another debate on the Culture War with Pearl and Lauren Chen, ALX, Benny Johnson. He's platforming people. And people go to him and ask him, like, can you have this person on? Because they have something great to say. So he's very important. That's the aspect I'm coming from. Tim is great, very important. So he's getting a lot of feedback, negative feedback, though. And that's why he's doing this kind of stuff. Tim, if you want to do that, take a Friday off. I don't know what you do. Maybe you don't have the show on a Friday. I don't know. And that's a cost. I know that's going to be a significant cost to you. But you can do it on Rumble, and you can still chop up the clips for YouTube, the ones that are YouTube safe. But you could have Nick on, just you and Nick on the like the old Culture War when it was still the Tim Pool channel. You like you did with Kerry Lake and Alex Jones, just you and Nick on the couch. It's not even a debate. We just talking, bro. That would help your reputation. This ain't helping your reputation. So he says he made a video calling me a liar. Okay, so what? You came up under him and it didn't come out right, even if he was wrong. So here's the first email where they did in fact ask my people to have me debate Cuomo. The response we gave was that it's impossible for me to make it without a private jet. I keeps a private jet, but so the problem is PBD had said that he didn't ask them to come on or something like that. It was weird. So PBD is not perfect in this interaction either. So he's just releasing the emails. I don't care. And then this was the last email. I didn't think there was beef. I didn't know PBD made a video about me till now. I DM'd him apologizing for the miscommunication. Next time someone asks me to take 3 days to travel to Miami for their event, I will just politely decline and not offer options. Just being kind of snarky there with that. Like, It's just not. And my biggest takeaway is the person who replied was the right take. The person who replied, whoever it was like a 300 follower account, said, "This is what we need from you: is to participate in the debate, host the debates." I know he does this on the culture war, but really the topic is that funny country, and that's what's really all of this is stemming from. You got to have. There's no one else people want to hear you talk to on this other than Nick. So if you want to help your reputation, make that work on a Twitter Space, X only exclusive. Make it a Daily Wire exclusive. They probably wouldn't be down with that though.
Middle MAGA.